Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for tuning into another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Justin Allen, and I'm here with my buddy, Moses Wartooth. And before we jump into today's episode, I want to take a moment to remind you about our merch and Patreon link in the description below. If you really like the channel and you want to support it, get down in there and buy some merch, man. Or definitely check out the Patreon. We got some good stuff that's coming out on there soon. A lot of stuff that we can't release on YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. So if you really like the show, consider getting in on it. For only $1 a month, that's it. You get everything, damn near, for only $1 a month. So if you really like the show and you really want to support us, highly recommend you check it out. Another quick reminder is we are still working with the guys from Another Fucking Card Game. Their Kickstarter is also in the description below. Now, as we've said before, that card game gives Cards Against Humanity a run for its money. So if you like Cards Against Humanity, you think it's funny, you think it's entertaining, this takes it to a whole nother level. Wouldn't lie to you guys.
It's just better.
Yeah, it's all around just better. And they took a lot of time in writing it and making sure you get your money's worth. And I'm telling you, Moses and I have both played it several times. It is absolutely worth it. So keep a lookout for those links in the description below. And let's get this show started, man. Dude, we're living in interesting times right now, man.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people are happy. A lot of people are pissed. Just like always. But now we're on the happy side.
Yeah, we're on the happy side.
It feels good. It feels good.
Man, I'm optimistic as hell, dude.
Me too.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up, I'm like, yeah, shit's going to be okay.
Yeah, shit's getting ironed out, man. Yeah. Dude, so the first thing I want to talk about is old Donald Trump, man, and what's been going on with Colombia.
With everything?
With everything, yeah, but Colombia specifically. Man, dude, talk about a hell of a flex.
Yeah.
You know? And for those of you who don't know, if you've been living in a cave or under a rock, Donald Trump has started a mass deportation program. I mean, it was already in place, but he's just basically enforcing what was already there. And he actually, I believe he hammered down on ICE and gave them a quota. It is 1,200 to 1,500 people per day he wants deported.
Damn.
That's a lot of
That's a lot of people.
You know? And then if you go through like the permutations of like, okay, if he hit like say find somewhere in the middle, like, you know, 1350 or something like that every day, and then you go through 365 days a year, and then you go through 4 years of that, like that is a shit ton of people, man.
Yeah. A
shit ton. Now, I will say this, they're starting with criminals.
Yeah, they're starting from the worst on down, which obviously they should do.
For sure.
I mean, really, I care about the fucking terrorists, the drug the people who are literally causing harm to our to the rest of us.
Yeah, like the guys who would plant a dirty bomb up your ass
Yeah.
somewhere, you know, take out like a football stadium full of people or some shit.
Yep.
Yeah, let's start with those guys, you know. We'll worry about the guys who, you know,
just came across and worked at McDonald's. Like, whatever.
Yeah, we'll take care of those guys later. But yeah, man, so a big part of the deportation process is, you know, they got to send the detainees back to their country of origin.
Which is annoying. Yeah,
but it's also fair and right. And it should be on that country to accept their own citizens back. And so the problem is there were two military aircraft, probably C-130s.
Yeah, I think they were.
Loaded with, I don't think it was even all really that many. I think it was less than 200 people. But they were legit criminals from Colombia, and he was sending them back. And the Colombian government just pulled some shit out their ass and were like, hey, we're not accepting these people. And they wouldn't allow our planes to fly. So,
I mean, I got an easy fix for that.
What do you
be like, all right, we're turning them away on the flight back, just kick them out of the fucking airplane. Be like, we came back empty, we're good. Yeah. We've done our part.
Just have them all be like a jump master in there or some shit, you know, just have them all hooked up to that wire. And it's just like when you see like the airborne guys just like, go, just one after another.
They're like, there's no parachutes. They're just like pushing. They're like, go, you got this.
Yeah, dude. And so the Colombians didn't want them. They were like, no, we're not taking them.
I mean, look, we don't want them either.
You know? So Donald Trump, man, just came in there with some fucking huge big dick energy and was like, no, you are going to take them because this is what's going to happen if you don't. And the first thing that he imposed was he called it an emergency 25% tariff on all goods coming out of Colombia. He said after 1 week it goes to 50%, and it just keeps going, dude. He revoked like every Colombian's like visa to the United States, like all their government officials, like business, you name it. Like he was just like, get the fuck out of here. And dude,
that's a good way to get them to actually start complying.
You know? And immediately stop processing any kind of visas, like people trying to come in legally and stuff from Colombia.
I mean, to be fair, we need to stop that shit no matter where anyone's coming from right now. Yeah, we got to get this shit under control.
Yeah, and so he took that, and then like what's crazy is like prior to all this, the Colombian president was like talking some shit. Like like we're not gonna fold to Donald Trump, all this other shit. Dude, Trump released that shit. That dude, his name is Gustavo Petro, I believe is his name. He folded in 1 hour. 1 hour, that dude folded. And so he ended up taking him, and he was like, hey, we're going to be working with the American government to get our citizens back to our country. We'll handle them when they get there. And he was like, good. All right. And all that shit went away real quick, you know? So, I don't know. So now they're working some shit out. But it's what needs to happen.
I mean, I'm glad. Obviously, I'm happy we're getting them out of here. But at the same time, it also frustrates me that we once again are paying for we're paying for them to get back. Like, dude.
But it's like, what's the alternative?
Oh, I've got some alternatives. But they can't be. That's for the Patreon. I can't repeat it on here.
You can't go here. That's on the Patreon. Yeah, dude. But I mean, it was a necessary thing, and almost some weird way. Well, yeah, it did get something accomplished. Like, it was like a show of force, really. Because that just sent a message to every other country, you know? And then there's like a lot of weird things that are starting to happen if you pay attention to specifically the verbiage that they're starting to use now with these executive orders. Like they've declared all these drug cartels on the U.S.-Mexican border as terrorist organizations. What does that do? That throws a straight Patriot Act. Like, dude. And then Trump has sent in so much military presence, like on the border. Like,
yeah, I want to say another 1,500 went down there to protect the border alone. Like,
dude, there's like Humvees and shit and everything. I'm like, God damn, bro. And like, I mean, straight up like battalions, platoons of people like going down there. And my thing is, what that looks like someone beefing up for war, man. You know. And I think what is going to happen, and the way he's been talking about Mexico. Because he's been talking some shit on Mexico. It's pretty funny. But I guess if the stakes weren't so high, it would actually be hilarious. But
if we weren't in Texas.
yeah. We're actually really close to that subject.
Yeah.
And but he was just talking about essentially like taking out drug cartels. And he was like, Mexico's in trouble. They're not even in control of their own country. And he was like, this shit ends today, man. And he's like, the border is... I mean, that motherfucker, when he took office, like, on his inauguration, he was like, by the time the sun sets today, that border will be secure. You know?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. You know? So we'll see what happens with that, man. I got no doubt, dude, that I wouldn't be surprised with, like, the verbiage they've used. It's almost given Trump the ability to use military action outside of our country on drug cartels. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that in the future, you know? Because I think you just got to fuck up one to send a message.
No, man. It's the fucking Hydra scenario. You cut one head off, two more grow back, and then it just disrupts everything. It's easier whenever there's like just a few, like when there's known bosses, everybody kind of listens and shit. But then whenever you just start killing them, it's just fucking pandemonium, man. And then you got every little 6th Street gang running around trying to run shit. It just really brings up the level of violence. But
so what you're saying is we have to have drug cartels.
We got to have the big dogs, yeah. Because they're the ones that are controlling the shit anyways.
Sure.
I just care about America. Mexico, they can fuck off. They can do whatever they can keep on doing what they're doing, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think it'd be kind of fun.
But on the border shit, it's like, what's that saying? You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, dude. It's literally that. And then I was seeing... You know, like a lot of these like major news outlets and stuff will try to find like the most like the saddest case to put on camera.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know? And then there was like this woman they were like interviewing that was crying at the border because she just got to the border, and I believe she was a Colombian citizen.
Then they told her that she wouldn't be allowed to cross, and she just dude, I saw that shit. Yeah. I don't know if you saw this one, but they like zoomed out real quick before the cameras cut, but there was 14 other photographers. Like, dude, you could tell it was just like a staged fucking event, man.
Yeah, just staged as fuck. Yeah. It's like, let's find this one, and then we're going to explain.
Yeah, like some poor grandma, which, I feel sorry. Like, she's an old woman. That's sad for her. But then, like, behind her is like the cartel, like all the like the actual bad individuals that are just doing shit, but they want to focus on her and make it a fucking guilt trip.
Well, I was reading a backstory about that lady. I don't know how true this is because I don't know her, obviously, but I was reading a backstory, and apparently this isn't the first time.
I mean, maybe she had 6 kilos strapped to her body.
Well, apparently she'd been like cycling in the system, like coming in and coming out and shit like that, like illegally, and had been like receiving a lot of government benefits and stuff like that. And
so she's a goddamn con artist, just like everyone else.
Apparently she's been doing it for like 20 years. Yeah,
she's a professional. We should have her on the show.
I'm just like, so how'd you do it? Take out my notepad. And start taking notes. Like, oh really? Oh cool. You know? But I don't know, man, but things are changing with that stuff, dude. And I think what happened with Take It Back, I think what happened with Colombia was good. That was necessary. It set that standard with Colombia, but it also sent a message to all these other countries. Like, we're not going to be fucked with anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the time of fuckery is over, man. You know? And I think all these people who talked all this hard shit, they're, like, coming to see now, like, yo, this shit is not, it's not.
Because they need us more than we need them.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, and then I was like seeing some crazy shit, like people were getting all like, you know, bleeding hearts and shit over it, and they were talking like, we know Colombia offers all this stuff to the United States, and it was just like, you brought it up when I was talking to you about it, you were like what do we get from other than like coffee and cocaine?
Yeah, coffee and coke.
You know, like, and like, so a lot of their shit was just like produce and stuff like that. And then my argument was like, fuck that, we'll just grow it here.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
I eat carnivore. I don't eat no fucking vegetables and fruits anyway. I don't give a shit. Ain't gonna hurt me, you know.
So it's getting wild, man, with that stuff, dude. But I don't know.
Dude, I just have no. I'm over it, man. I have no sympathy for anything else anymore, dude. Yeah. Like, I'm ready to lock down our fucking country and take care of. Like, I have sympathy for my fellow American. I'm fucking tired of the other countries.
Well, it's just time to rip off the Band-Aid, man.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is like, no one really has wanted to do that, and we've hit this day and age where like, if you're seen as being like, I don't know, it's like you're so demonized for having a logical point. Like, are there cases where it's sad? Absolutely, man. Like, it's immigration. It's never an easy thing.
Yeah. But they shouldn't have been allowed or given the false hope that it would be an appropriate thing for them to do in the first fucking place.
And then, like, man, I was watching some shit. There was a fucking caravan of 1,500 like illegal immigrants. Well, they were in Mexico, so they were legal at the time, coming up to get to the border before Trump got into office. Mm-hmm. They were just trying to hop the border just before, you know? Like, what does that tell you?
Tells me that they know what the fuck's going down.
Yeah, dude, you know?
But again, shouldn't the blame be passed on to their own fucking government for neglecting them and letting them be in that position to where they have to hope to get to another country for a better life? That's bullshit, and their own country should be at fault for that. Not the people, the government. Yeah,
like if you actually care about the people, like the best thing you can do is actually prop up their government and their society and empower them to make the quality of life better. And I actually, years ago, I read deep into this shit, and all the data points to that. And if you do the opposite, where you bring them in, it ends horribly.
It's welfare.
Every time.
It's the same concept. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So, you know.
And again, that can also be relayed onto helping. I'm tired. Like, I don't want to help another government. They got, like, they should have the capability to take care of them fucking selves. And if not, too bad. We got enough shit. We got our own problems we got to deal with.
Yeah, fuck that.
If America was running at 100% proficiency and everybody, we had no fucking homelessness, all the kids were fucking taught right, and like there was no issues in America, then maybe we can think about helping somebody else. Yeah. But until then, no, we got to worry about ourselves.
Yeah. So, while like it's probably going to be a rocky and painful process, this is no fucking surprise, you know. And I think it's just good that we're just locking it down once and for all, man, because everyday citizens feel like they're just being taken advantage of.
I mean, they are.
Like, yeah. I mean, I see it all the time. It's like, all right, cool, man. Like, whatever. You know, like. It sucks because an individual can't really do anything about it. Although although ICE has like an anonymous tip line if you guys want to use it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe your neighbor's been pissing you off. I don't know. Wouldn't mow the lawn. Yeah.
So just saying, that's out there, and it is actually anonymous. So I don't know. Do with that information as you see fit.
Dude, imagine if they like started offering rewards, like $500 for each person you got deported.
Dog, that problem would be solved like that, dude. Like just straight up. Like before the sun went down,
Yeah.
that shit would be over, dude. It would be all just categorized, logged, ready to fucking go, dude. Delta Airlines would be just printing fucking tickets like it's going out of style, man. Courtesy of Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Or just like, what if you just get like shitty ass gift cards? You get like a $50 Buffalo Wild Wings card or some shit. We're like selling out like a family of 10 people.
Yeah. Just
Well, we're going to Chili's tonight. You know? So,
fucking 25% off a Chick-fil-A sandwich or something like
just
something
meaningless.
very minuscule to just like destroy lives.
like if someone gave you that in a Christmas card, you'd probably forget about
Yeah,
it.
you'd be mad. Like,
Just look at the fuck. You know? So, I don't know, man. But we'll see what the fucking future holds. But, dude, if I was here illegally, I'd be fucking scared. And then another thing I want to talk about before we get on to our next subject, dude, is the anchor baby stuff. You've been reading about this shit.
Yeah.
And so I've always, the entire time I've grown up, I've always been told if you just have a child in the United States, regardless of your citizenship status, that child is now a legal citizen of the United States. You know, that's actually bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, that's entirely, like, that's based on bullshit. It's like predicated on bullshit entirely. So I'll give a little bit of a backstory about that. So where all that idea has come from, it actually was born out of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment was created so that slaves, like freed slaves.
Yeah, that were already here would be citizens.
Well, when they had children.
Which is fair.
Their children would be citizens,
Yeah.
right? And then, so over the years, it got twisted in courts and shit like that. And then eventually it became what we see today with like anchor babies, which I have never agreed with.
Which if you can cross the border and pop out the kid, it's a citizen. Like if you can shoot it over the fence.
And I've never agreed with that. I'm like, that ends horrible. Like,
Again, no other countries do that shit.
Yeah.
None.
You know?
They don't allow that.
And so it's, I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? But apparently it goes back to like Lyndon B. Johnson after JFK died, like really pushed for it. And that's where it came from. So it's actually a relatively new idea in the history of the United States, you know? And so apparently is about to be challenged like in court and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know the state of Washington has already like gone or planned to, or they're fighting that executive order specifically.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
Big
course.
surprise.
And it's also, it's fucking Washington. Like, how much of a problem is it for you up there? No doubt they got illegal immigrants, but get fucked, dude. You come down here to like fucking Southeast
Arizona or some shit.
Yeah, fucking Texas where we're at, dude. Like, yeah, it's a real fucking problem down here, dude. Like, this isn't like some fucking Redwood National Forest. Like, you hang out, smoke some fucking weed, beat on some fucking drums and shit like that. And what's that fucking shit those hippie chicks wear? That Pachica, what the fuck is it called? You know what I'm talking about. It smells like shit. They wear it instead of deodorant. But, like,
stank.
Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that. Patchouli. That's what it's called. Patchouli. Anyway. But, but, you know, we'll see. But the thing is, inevitably, this is all going to happen. Because the reality is Trump he had his 4 years as president, and then he had 4 years to sit and think and plan. And that motherfucker knew day one he was running again. Day one. He probably knew while he was still in the White House, he was like, I'm doing this shit again, you know, even if this shit don't work out. And so I'm saying is he's not making any rash decisions. Like, I think every decision he's making right now, he already knows he can.
Yeah, he's already had that shit in the chamber for months minimum.
Yeah. So we'll fucking see, man. But the anchor baby shit, that's got to go, man. I don't like that shit at all, dude. I don't agree with that. The more I think about it, I'm like, that is not cool. And the thing is, like, you know, they were shitting on Trump about it. But the executive order that he signed for that stated that if the parents were here illegally for less than 30 days, then that child is not going to be a citizen.
Mm-hmm. Now,
that's a step in the right direction. That's not what I want entirely, but it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know?
Really, that's a compromise.
Yeah. And if you want to look about, like, if you think this sounds harsh or whatever, if you want to look at actual fairness here, like, to a person, to a human being, okay? I know several illegal immigrants in this country that were brought over here when they were like 1, 2, 3 years old. They have no memory of Mexico. None. They were raised here. They went to school here.
We went to school with some of them.
Yep. They work here, all this other shit, right? They get fucking jammed up. They go back to Mexico. How fucking fair is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying they should be given a pass to stay here or whatever, but that's the situation you find yourself in if you don't put it into this type of shit, you know? But it's just something to think about from a different fucking perspective, man. But I do also want to get onto our next topic, because we can sit here and rant about immigration all goddamn day.
Yeah.
Our next topic, man. Favorite of the faves, man. DEI, dude. You brought this up. You said you had a beef with this shit. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, man. It's like people are comparing it to like the civil rights movement, and they're like saying that they're acting like DEI is segregation when it's not.
It's not, dude.
It's absolutely not.
It's the most retarded shit ever, dude. It really absolutely is. And I've been seeing a lot of it here lately, dude. And like famously, so Trump like nixed that for the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just straight up was like, we're not doing this anymore. Big one that stands out is in the military. And we've talked about it a million times on this show. The military is an old institution. Essentially at its core, it's designed to protect what is ours and to fucking kill our enemies. That's it. Anything else is all bullshit. And so one thing that I've been seeing, because I do have a lot of friends that are still in the military, so I see it on Facebook all the time, is this actually really pissed me off, and I think there's going to be some shit that comes out of it. But so when Moses and I were in the military, they would have like DEI meetings and shit you would have to go to. Like it would be, they would talk about just all kinds of just dumb shit. Just insert whatever, insert whatever category, and it's just some stupid shit you'd have to sit there and listen to like once a year or whatever, right? And basically it was like, stop being a racist piece of shit and you're bad. You know?
If you're white.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, what the fuck? So they were supposed to do away with all this, but what they did is they rebranded it. They called it like I can't remember what it was, like Organization for Equal Opportunity or some crap.
Yeah.
And it's literally the same room, the same criteria.
They didn't even change the PowerPoint slides.
Yeah, it's the same fucking name, dude. And they got like our troops like having to sit through there and listen to that shit. And some of them have just stopped going. And I was seeing some shit on Facebook with a friend of mine. He was talking about one of his troops was like getting like administrative action held against them because they refused to go to this mandatory training. And he was like, the president of the United States just said, I don't have to do that. Like that's not even legal anymore in this institution. So it's becoming an interesting situation I think some of our people are finding themselves in. But the DEI stuff is like total horseshit, man. Like,
dude, yeah, because first off,
racism.
There's always been, we've never had a white military.
No.
Like, there's always been the first, like, I've never met so many nationalities until I joined the fucking military.
Yeah, there's like shit I didn't even know about that existed. I was like,
I'd never met like any Middle Eastern people at all.
Yeah.
Until I joined the military.
Same thing, yeah. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You're from Pakistan?
You know English too? What?
Yeah, that's just coming from rural America.
Yeah.
Finally seeing the world.
But yeah, there was never any issue with racism in the military. The DEI bullshit is so they can put people that don't deserve the positions in high positions of power. Yeah. But from the enlisted side, they fucking take anybody with a goddamn pulse.
Yeah.
There's never, oh, you're too dark to join. That is never that makes no fucking sense.
And that is one thing I can honest to God say, man. Because you spent, 8 years in the military? And I spent 10, right? I can honest to God say, not one fucking time did I ever see any racism in the armed services.
No.
Not one fucking time.
If anything, you're fucking more joint, like you're more like camaraderie and shit than any other fucking point in your life.
And if you think I'm full of shit, if you wanna go down this road, if you think I'm full of shit, look at how I look. Okay, back then I was a lot more clean cut, obviously high and tight and shit, but I was the generic white guy, right? And if there was any of those conversations going on, I would have been privileged to some of that shit.
Yeah.
And none of that shit was happening.
No.
Now, if there was ever any jokes made or anything, that was between individuals and stuff. Like I had guys I worked with, every form of diversity you could ever imagine. And we would make fun of each other because of that shit.
Yeah, because it's fun.
Yeah, because it was literally lighthearted fun. We were just fucking around. Now, as far as like the institution goes, like people were getting promoted based on race or gender and shit like that. None of that shit ever happened.
No, it didn't.
I was never in a room where they were like, oh, we can't give this to this guy because he's a different shade of fucking whatever than we are, you know? I was like, what the fuck, you know?
Like if anything, the military is the one institution where DEI didn't need to even be there because there was no shit like that anyway. It was
never a problem to begin with.
No, it wasn't.
Never. Not one fucking time. Where it became a problem was when they started implementing it.
Yeah, and then there was an issue because that was fucking problematic because people were getting put into positions that they didn't need to be in or weren't qualified for or didn't know how to fucking do.
And that was like one of the many reasons I actually got out.
Yeah.
Because I started to see shit like that and I was like, we're not doing this shit. I'm not going to be a fucking part of this. Like, fuck that. When I was in, it was the height of like the trans shit going on. And I was like, yo, dude, like we're not dealing with this. Like, I'm sorry. I can't stomach this shit. You know, maybe when I was like 19, sure. But like at that point, like I was like pushing 30 and I was like, yo, dog, I ain't fucking.
I ain't relearned none of this shit.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks, man, you know? So.
Not when they're fucking insane and bullshit like that.
Yeah, dude. Fucking bonkers, dude. Absolutely bonkers, dude. But he's nixing that shit, man, you know, at least for the federal government, and I think everything else will follow suit. But they really are. I mean, like, god damn, dude. It's just, I hate to talk about it again because we talked about it so much. But you know, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, okay, while he did atrocious things, if you actually read his manifesto, he talks about this shit in there. And it's out of a fucking playbook for like the liberals. It really is, where they create a problem, or there may be a problem, but it's such a small problem. Blow it out of proportion, and then they become a victim, and they create a movement behind that, and all it centers around is money and control, man. Like a weird type of control. Like there's control that you can get in the federal government. Like, hey, you have to drive this speed limit. I determine this shit, right? You have to pay this tax rate. I determine this shit. That's control.
But they're trying to do like psychological and emotional
control. There's a weird level of control where it changes my behavior when I go to Walmart. And that's what they're after, because that's real control. But he talks about it, how the reaction is the same. The method is the same. The problem changes every few years. And it's all just liberal bullshit. That's all it is. And one thing that he actually brought up that was an interesting point that I really did like was he said, if you look at the people who are making the biggest deals out of this shit, like being the loudest ones in the rooms about it, most of the time it is people that don't even fit that demographic.
Yeah. Like in this case, it's pretty much old white people.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? And so it's like, what's going on here? You know, but then there's also like this weird psychological thing that humans deal with, like with a victim mentality, because then it's like, oh, the attention's on me. People care about me. I don't know if they didn't get hugged enough when they were a kid or what the fuck happened, but it's like they're looking for that, man. You know, looking for love in all the wrong places.
They need to just find religion, man.
You need Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't throw that out lightly, dude. I never recommend fucking religion to people, but some of those
I don't either, but
people,
some of them people, they need it.
Iron that shit out a little bit.
I've got a book for you.
Here, I got an idea. Since we're just sharing ideas all of a sudden. But yeah, man. So the DEI shit is just fucking out of control. But like, you know, they had their heyday with it, man. And I think like anything else, it's coming to an end. And
and of course people are going to be
screaming.
Exactly.
Dude.
They're going to be clawing the walls, trying to fucking hang on to what they have before it's gone.
It's like when you take a toy away from a toddler.
Yeah.
It's literally the exact same thing. It's the exact same mentality. Like, I mean, it just the same visceral reaction that occurs.
You have to get that teddy bear, stare that kid in the face, and rip its head off.
No more.
Yeah.
You guys want to see a magic trick? Just throw it in the trash and set it out by the street. Make them sit in the window and watch it get picked up.
You're never going to see it again. It's gone.
So I don't know, man. But times are changing, dude. I'm excited that DEI shit has no fucking place in the public sector. Now, if you run a private corporation, I will say this, right? Because I'm all about freedom of speech and expression and everything and all that crap. If you, in my personal opinion, I don't speak for Moses, but if you ran a private corporation, like if you had a private mom and pop bakery and you were like, this is how I want to do business.
Come on, this game again? Fucking boring.
It's the only thing we get.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of this every Saturday night playing.
Come up with something new by now.
Another fucking card game? This has 650 of the most offensive cards.
The biggest deck you've ever seen?
Oh, yeah.
Now I gotta see what's inside of this. What do we have? Some question cards here, and then we got a boatload of answers.
Yep.
Let's see what some of these answers might be. Buying a PVC pipe, a gerbil, and a string. All right, this sounds like an interesting night right here.
It's definitely the biggest deck I've ever seen.
Okay. Do you enjoy living in the freest country in the world that values nothing more than free speech? I bet you do. But it doesn't take a blind man to notice that you can't really say what the fuck you want anymore. Well, we have a solution to stick it to this once and for all. Look no further than another card game. With 650 of the most offensive, outrageous cards I've personally ever seen, it's sure to make your family gatherings implode like some not seen since the days of Nagasaki.
What is that beeping noise?
It's the censorship.
Dude, are we getting censored right now?
God, I'm telling you, buy another card game. It's the only way you can take your country back in one piece. Gee, here we are.
Holy shit. Just back another card game.
Seriously, it's the best you'll ever see, man. Fine. That's your choice.
For sure. I mean, there's plenty of solely black-owned businesses. Sure. I have no issue with that. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. But if you're going to do that, be prepared for the response you're going to receive. And don't play the fucking victim over it. You know, if you're going to be like, oh, like, insert whatever alphabet gang shit, like, this is the only people we want, this is what we want to push, like, these are the ideologies we want to, don't be surprised if no one buys your product.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no one wants to hear that. You know? So, and that's, like, the weird thing about it.
Or, I mean, if you want to carve out your niche market and only pander to home, like, whatever the fuck, LGB...
alphabet game. Yeah, that's just what I call it now.
I mean,
it changes every day.
Yeah, there's all fucking symbols.
It's like someone dropped a game of Scrabble. Then you just pick up the pieces, like, oh yeah, well I guess this is a new fucking thing we're doing. You know, it's like numbers in there. And shit. But I don't know, man. You want to move on to our next subject?
Yeah.
This is interesting. This is going to be a lot more shorter, man. So another thing that Trump's been doing here lately, dude, that I'm going to be honest, dude, and some of our viewers, because I know we lean... I tell people moderately to the right, but...
Slightly, a little tinge.
Just a little tinge to the right. But I'll be honest, I got a weird feeling about this. I don't like this, you know? Because, I mean, you know me, like... Well, I'll get in and explain it, like some of my history. But what Trump has done is he's ordered a communications blackout from all health services in the federal government.
Because we pulled out of the WHO.
Yes. And so it's the FDA, CDC, NIH, there's a few others and stuff. They cannot talk to the media. They cannot publish any reports, any scientific data whatsoever. They can't even update their websites. They can't do anything to communicate outside of their institution. Why do you think he did that?
I mean, I feel like that's a very short-sighted response to what actually should have happened. But I mean, I can understand his reasoning on paper for it, but I can't say that I agree with that either.
All right, you want me to do tinfoil hat or no?
Yeah.
All right, tinfoil hat. There's been whispers in the shadows, right? The fucking shadows.
Shadow people.
Yeah. Yeah, I see him sometimes.
Hat man.
Usually talk to him. But there's been whispers in the shadow of another scared-demic. And that there's like plans in place for it and shit like this. This goes into like the Gates and shit like that, Bill Gates and all that stuff being a part of it. But there are whispers of them trying basically COVID round 2. And this time doing it right from their perspective. And supposedly, Trump just made it illegal for them to communicate any information to the public to stop that from happening.
Does that have like a time limit on it? Like,
I don't fucking know. It's like a fucking time capsule.
Yeah, like
it has to go.
when the sand hits down, you can talk again.
Yeah, it's like a 90s or like 80s like Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie. Like, look at the timer. Get it now, you pussy. You know? So I don't know. Supposedly, so take the tinfoil hat off it. Supposedly that's what that is. And I can see that. What do I think he's doing is I think there is no secret, and I'll get on why I don't feel good about this here in a second. There is no secret what happened during the pandemic. Okay? Clear as day. I don't even have to go into detail. We all know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I think what he's doing is he put a gag order on them until RFK Jr. can come in and iron that shit out. Because he still hasn't been confirmed yet. So he's not in 100%, you know? So Congress still has to confirm his ass. And I think that's what it is. So they can't start laying the groundwork for some fucking bullshit.
Okay. Well, then in that case, it would tie in with his other executive order because another one of his orders were he basically signed something saying that nothing can be done until he is fully in power. Basically, like the old administration can't be sleeking shit under the table until he gets in power and actually has control over what's going on.
So more than likely, that's what's happening. Is like he's laying the foundation for someone he can trust to come in there and like just fucking
actually give him the fucking real details.
And I think logically that is the case.
Yeah.
Now the side that I don't like is,
blacking out from the public.
Yeah, you know, because those are our institutions. That's our data. We paid for that. Don't ever let them fucking let you think different, dude. Like, for real. Like, that belongs to us. I have a right to see everything, and you have the not only legal but moral obligation to tell me everything that you know about every single penny that has been spent, whatever information came out of it. You know, and then you look from like a scientific perspective too. Like, you know, I have a history of like going to school for that stuff. You know, studied biology and chemistry and stuff. And research is research, man. It's supposed to be completely non-biased. Like,
but that very rarely happens.
You know, there is some
depends on who's funding the research.
yeah, there is that. So, but I don't like the idea of public information being taken from the public.
They should do like during the last pandemic where they just slapped a false information thing on every fucking thing you tried to post. They should just do that to that.
It's fucking fake news.
Yeah, just be like, you can look at it if you want to, but it's probably bullshit.
Yeah, like a Babylon Bee.
Yeah, exactly.
At
the
bottom. So, dude, yeah. So
just straight fact check the FDA. Like, this has been proved to not be accurate.
It makes me feel weird. Like, it's a weird, uneasy feeling. But then that's also where it comes into trust, which is going to be, like, a stupid thing to do because I've always advocated, like, hey, you can't really trust those in power. You know? That's a...
I mean, look at the track record.
Yeah, it's not a very good track record. You know? But maybe that just comes down to, like, that level of trust. Like, trust that, okay, maybe he is doing the right thing. And sometimes you got to give a little to get a little.
I mean, you know? I feel more comfortable passing the keys off to him than the last guys, so at least there's that. Hopefully it won't last for an extended amount of time, and then they'll open that shit back up for the information. But dude,
I wonder if Joe Biden even remembers if he was president.
I don't know.
You know, like if he's just
he wakes up at 2 a.m. like. Joe's like, go back to sleep. Shh. I was the president once. No, you weren't. Just go back to sleep.
I was the president. That's probably what that was more about. More about her than him, you know? But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what comes out of that, dude. I hope they get RFK in.
Me fucking too, man.
Yeah, and there was, what is his name? I think his last name's Hegseth. The new defense secretary.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see his fucking little interrogation he had to go through during his confirmation? So, you know, all these people, like, when they get appointed by the president, they get to get confirmed by Congress, right? And so during that process, they're interviewed and grilled like a motherfucker. And it ain't just what's your qualification for this job. It is who are you as a person?
Yeah.
And it gets graphic.
It's like, did you fuck that chick at the Christmas party in '88?
And that's what they did. they tore into his ass like a motherfucker. Even I watched it, I was like, God damn, brother. Like, you know, I was like, dude, I was sweating for him. Like, and I was just watching it on my phone. I was like, oh, fuck. You know? So, dude, bro, they basically were just calling him like a fucking piece of shit. Like, all around, like a sexual predator and stuff.
Oh, my God. Dude, that's their fucking scapegoat, dude.
Always
sex offender.
Yeah.
Sexual predator.
Yeah. And so they were talking about...
I mean, maybe he is, but whatever. It's still the scapegoat.
But they were talking about Hegseth, man. They're just talking about, like, his history and shit and stuff. So now, all right. So the dude, I actually do... Like, if you look at his track record on paper, I actually do like the guy. I think he's a good guy. He's only 44 years old, by the way.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Young dude. Other side of that is he was in the Army for, like, 14 years, I think. I think he joined in 2000... 3, ran it to 14. I'm probably getting these numbers wrong, but he did like basically a little over a decade his first stint. Took a little break, came back in the reserves. He was Army infantry. He has 2 Bronze Stars. He has combat medals out the ass and shit. Dude's not fucking around. Like, if there's a guy that you probably want in charge, like, he has seen the shit.
Yeah.
Like, he has been there, like, straight up. And then he became a major in the Army. And then he got out. Now, you want to talk about a hell of a promotion? You go from being a reserve officer major to Secretary of Defense seemingly overnight, you know, like that, where you just jump past every 4-star general and you're like, you know, like, yeah, dude. But they were digging in his ass like a motherfucker, which has me worried. Like, if you go and look at what they were putting him through, like, what the fuck are they going to do to RFK Jr., man? Don't touch Bobby, okay? Bobby's a national treasure. There's not many.
I mean, as long as, like, I don't know, as long as you're comfortable with your past sins, like, you just gotta own that shit.
That's the thing with that shit. You have to be like, you just have to own it.
Yeah.
You know?
Because first off, you can't take anything back anyways.
Yeah.
If you can't lie about it, if there's any way that they know that you were, if they have proof on you, you have to own up.
That.
You have to own up to it. So.
Yeah. If it's even out there, like if that question gets asked right there, you just might as well just be like, yep.
Yeah.
You know? And so, but they went into some of his behavior while he was in the military, like excessive drinking, like sexual harassment.
Be like, okay, so you really were in the military.
Yeah, I was like, so is any other A that ends in Y. You know? But they were talking about how like he took people to like a strip club, made people feel uncomfortable. He got fucked up and had to be like escorted off the stage and then he was like, some like staffer that worked for him or whatever, like he apparently sexually assaulted her, I guess like getting a little handsy or some shit. Supposedly he had a scenario where he had someone who worked for him. This is while he was in the military. They all went out having drinks or some shit. She ended up back in his hotel room and he like stole her phone and stood in front of the door and wouldn't let her leave. And then was kind of like, we're doing this right now. And then they just banged or whatever. So rape essentially is what you're talking about. Well, it is what you're talking about. And then they talked about, now I don't know how true these are. He claimed these were all false allegations. So, you know, but I'm also a firm believer there's no smoke without a fire. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not a fucking lawyer. I mean, the situations could have happened. The verbiage, who the fuck knows? I mean, you know, I mean, it could be as simple as like people got fucked up and then they hooked up or whatever, and then she was like, "Oh, I don't like this guy. Fuck him." And someone gave her a bag of money and was just like, "Say this shit." You know what I mean? Especially now. You know? But so where it got funny, where I started really sweating for the guy, right? Like really I mean, dude, I was like, "Oh shit," was when they started talking about his marriages. I was like, oh, dude, this is going to get fucking good right here, dog. And so basically they were like, okay, you cheated on your first wife. Like they straight up asked it. Like, dude, they had this motherfucker and he's just sitting there like, you know, like, and so he was like, but he wouldn't like acknowledge shit. He would say things like, I'll let your words speak for themselves, Senator. Like things like that, you know. And so I was like, yeah, that's a fancy
that's a blatant.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So, but they straight up asked him. It was actually Tim Kaine. Actually, I think it was Tim Kaine asked him. That was the guy who ran as vice president with Hillary Clinton. The name I couldn't remember like several episodes back. Yeah, it was him. And he was like, so you cheated on your first wife. And he was spinning it into this whole thing of like, if you can't even, and he went on this whole spiel about taking an oath in a marriage. And he's like, if you can't even uphold that, how can we trust you to be Secretary of Defense? You know? And so that's what they were going with.
That's bullshit.
I thought it was a pretty far stretch.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And so anyway, basically, in a roundabout way, he sacks up to cheating on his first wife. And so they're like, okay, you cheated on your first wife with your second wife, who fathered your child. And he's just kind of like, dude, I mean,
wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it gets better, man. And so he cheats on his first wife with his second wife. She gets knocked up, right? So he obviously marries this chick or whatever, right? And then he cheats on her with his third wife. Like he just keeps marrying his side pieces, man. And so I was like, you know what?
I mean, hey, he doesn't have a commitment issue. He's committed to one. Like he just moves on a little too quick.
So, but yeah, dude, he was sweating like a motherfucker, dude. And that vote in the Senate got split 50-50, and J.D. Vance was the one that kicked it.
Yeah.
You know, he barely made it through, dude. So we'll see. I don't know. As far as like the dude's actual resume, I like him.
Yeah.
Now I can't say who he is.
I don't give a shit about his personal life, man. I do not care. I do not care. That shit doesn't. I don't know, man.
Dude,
I'm a firm believer, and there's a difference between work and home. Like, come on.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that is true. You know, like I mean, I've known guys, you know, got in some trouble or like whatever, or they may have lived lifestyles that I don't necessarily agree with and stuff. But like at work, it was fucking 100% professional always.
Dude, and I've known guys that were complete fucking dickheads, couldn't stand them, but they were a great dad. Like in their off time, they were a super cool individual. Like they were just a fucktard at work, and I didn't want to deal with them. But like they were a good husband. Like they did the family shit great.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of times people can't do both. You got to pick. So I don't know. Look, give that dude a chance. That's all.
Let's give him a shot. Let's go. I just like seeing like someone who's, you know, 44. Like a young guy. So we have a 40-year-old vice president. We have a 44-year-old secretary of defense. Those are good ages right there.
Not fucking 78.
I say 40 to 60 is like probably your prime. Yeah. Somewhere in there. Maybe
because you still have experience. You've learned shit, but you're not a geriatric motherfucker who's like stuck in the past.
Yeah, so out of touch with what shit's going on now. Yeah, dude. So I am optimistic. But the guy, like, I think he has like a fucking tattoo that says "We the People." Like he's got like sleeves and shit, dude. Like, so I was like, yo, dope. Like, this dude might be a patriot, like, through and through, man. You know? Like, fuck yeah, let's do that. Let's see what's up there. So, but who knows, man? It was just a big-ass fucking smear campaign from what I could tell. Man, is there some truth to that shit? Maybe.
I'm sure there is, but at the end of the day, like...
Yeah, but it's also a story as old as time. Like
exactly. Dude, it doesn't matter what person you put on that fucking stand. No one's perfect. Everyone's done some fucked up shit in their life. So it's about, can you do the job now? Yeah. That's what matters.
And it's like, okay, so you go from first wife to second wife you had the kid with, right? The thing is that you don't know the nature of that first wife and his relationship. That relationship could have been over for the longest time.
They could have been like 20. I mean...
you never know. I mean, it could have been like... Maybe they were like still legally married and maybe lived together, but like there was no relationship. It was just roommates. Maybe they slept in different fucking rooms. You don't fucking know. And then be like, oh, he was banging some.
Maybe they were separated, but the divorce wasn't finalized. I mean, like,
I've seen that.
Shit happens,
Yeah, you know, because I mean, the divorce is a fucking lengthy process. So, but you know, or maybe he was just a complete piece of shit and just trying to live.
Going to the strip clubs, banging fucking coworkers and shit against their will. Saying, like, who knows?
You know, you take out all their weird sexual shit, and I'm on board with it. Yeah. I was like, oh, he likes to go to strip clubs. Fuck
like I hope he didn't harm any women. But other than that, like, I'm cool with whatever else he was doing, like drinking and shit, whatever.
So, we'll see, man. We'll see. So it's a lot of confirmation hearings that are coming up and stuff to see if these people can actually take the positions they've been appointed to and stuff. So
I feel like anytime there's a lot of backlash for an individual getting a position, then he's probably fit for that position.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like when they try to silence someone, that's probably the person you want to listen to.
Exactly.
You know, exactly. Saying something they don't want you to fucking hear.
Yeah. If you were a babbling moron, they wouldn't care if you spoke anyways. Like,
but the political realm is changing, ladies and gentlemen, and the next topic I do want to get onto is interesting because we talked about it a little bit. So this is going to come in two parts, really. But Canada, dude. Canada is getting real fucking interesting right now. So I'm sure you've probably seen it. There are talks about Canada becoming a state in the United States. And also with that, their prime minister, Justin Trudeau, has resigned.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah. And so I'm excited. And so I started doing some digging, right? I'm not opposed to this idea. At first, I thought it was a joke. Like, I was like, oh, whatever.
It sounds like something. It sounds like a joke.
Yeah. And then I started reading into it. From just an economic and military defense standpoint, there's no disadvantage to this. I was like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? So specifically, so in Canada, they have 5 provinces, right? So essentially states, okay? Mm-hmm. One of them being Alberta. Now, Alberta, I've been there. You been there?
I haven't been to Alberta. Okay. Been in British
Columbia. It is very flat. There's really nothing there, right? But Alberta is basically one massive oil field. That's all it is. Just oil rigs and shit everywhere. Alberta.
Yeah, because part of the goddamn pipeline was going to run that down.
Alberta produces a shit ton of oil. They make so much money in that province that it actually finances the other ones. So where all this crazy shit's happening in like BC and stuff, like British Columbia, it's Alberta foot in the bill. But if you talk to the citizens in Alberta, they're like so fucking done with Canada, like their government. They're just like, dude, fuck yeah, let's just become part of the United States. And so it's essentially their governor. I can't remember what they call it. I think they call it a premier or whatever. But it's their governor of Alberta, right? She is having real talks about putting it to a vote on whether or not to make the Canadian state of Alberta, a fucking state of the United States. And I was like, holy shit. And then with that too, Trump has said, like, look, man, like, your taxes will drop significantly. The tariffs go away.
Won't exist. Yeah.
You know? And then you fucking shore up more real estate. It makes the North America more secure.
I like Canada. Like,
dude, I didn't have a bad time when I was there, man. I was there for like a few days. And I drove, my first base I got stationed at was in Alaska. And I drove from Alaska to Texas. Mm-hmm. And so it took me like 10 fucking days. But I spent a decent amount of time in Canada, dude. Bro, some of the nicest fucking people. Like, I had nothing bad to say about it. I was like, holy shit, you guys are cool, man.
The scenery's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like,
dude. Yeah, especially if you get into, like, the Yukon territory and stuff, dude. Like, everything looks like a postcard. Like, it's fucking wild. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. And you just see, like, a fucking eagle come snatch a salmon out of the river like a bear.
Yeah, and, like...
you know? Like, yeah.
Goddamn
cool.
National Geographic.
Yeah, dude, like a raccoon riding a fucking brown bear or something. Go fight a moose. You know, like, holy shit. So... But yeah, dude, it is cool, and the Canadians are super nice.
I know. I would welcome Canada. Like,
and I actually quit cussing after my first day there.
They were just too nice. You felt out of place.
I became very aware of how I spoke very quickly because I'll cuss a lot, and like, I mean, where we're at, it's business as usual. I mean, as long as you're not in the work environment, like, kind of everyone just talks like that.
I mean, plus.
I mean, we take
plus military, like.
Yeah, we take it to a whole other level. I mean, most normal people aren't running around screaming cocksucker every 5 seconds, but it happens to be one of my favorite words. But or calling people a motherfucker, you know. But yeah, dude, after the first day, like, I quit cussing. I was like, nope. I felt really out of place, and I felt like when I did it, like,
you're like offending people.
Yep, yeah. Everyone was looking at me. I was like, yeesh, okay. But I was also like really young too, man. I was only like 21, I think, if I remember right, 21, 22. But they had good beer. I liked it. Like, they're like equivalent to like Bud Light. It's just called like a Canadian. Like, give me a Canadian. Like, literally the name of the beer is Canadian. So like, it's fucking good. It has like a hint of like mapley syrup taste to it and shit. I was like, give me that shit. I loaded up my truck with that shit. Across the border with that. I was like, man, I might have to declare this shit coming through, dude. I got so much of this shit. And then, and it was cool. Like, when I left Alaska going into Canada, they didn't give a fuck. They didn't check shit. Dude, they just looked at my driver's license, and the guy didn't scan anything. He goes, you're good. And then just let me drive through. And I was like, okay, that's it. Bro, coming back into America, because I crossed over in, I think it was Montana. Yeah, it was Montana. And, dude, holy shit. They were, like, scanning my truck. They were going through shit. They were questioning me. They were like, what's your business? What were you doing in Canada? Yada, yada, yada. I'm here with, like, a military ID, military orders. I was like, yo, dog, like, we're kind of, like, on the same team. You know what I mean? And I was just getting fucking grilled, man. And they were like, shining lights and shit and stuff. I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
What are you doing around these parts, boy?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in the middle of fucking shit, fuck nowhere, Montana, trying to come over here. But yeah, not a very warm welcome is all I'm gonna say. But I do like Canada, and I'm not opposed to it, man. Because if you look at the idea of this, okay, if we were to secure all of Canada as the United States, a part of the United States. They practice what's called, what is it? It's English law. It's common law, essentially. It's like what we practice, the Brits, the Canadians, the Australians, and stuff like that. That's why, like, attorneys, it's very easy. You could actually, it's not a very lengthy process to have, say, for example, like an attorney in America go practice law.
Yeah, and get his license. And
yeah. So they're basically on the same fucking page as us. All right. But if you just look from a military standpoint, that secures damn near the entire North American continent. You want to talk about the largest superpower the world has ever seen? Let that happen, dude. And then the amount of resources that we inherit from it, we don't need anyone else. We don't have to import shit. You know what I mean? Anything we import would just be a luxury. Be like, whatever. Like, fuck it, we'll make it here. This is our own shit, you know? So we don't fucking need you. Fuck you, Saudi Arabia, you know? And speaking of that, dude, I gotta write down this note. We do have to talk about this a little bit. This is on the cuff, dude, about the 9/11 Commission report. But anyway, yeah, that connected really well. So just how my brain works. But I'm not opposed to it, man. And apparently the citizens of Alberta are the more conservative type. Like, I mean, they're just, roughnecks, man. Like, out there doing that shit, and they're just tired of the liberal bullshit that they see in, like, Vancouver and shit like that. And they're like, fuck this. We don't want any part of this. Like, this isn't Ontario. Yeah. You know? So I'm not opposed to it, man. I would like it. Trudeau, apparently, Canada has about, I can't remember how many major political parties. I believe it was like 5, right? And apparently the Liberal Party that Trudeau is a part of is like imploding. Like to the point to where they don't have enough membership to even be legally considered a political party anymore. And that has a lot to do with him stepping down, was to try to save that party's existence and shit. That's how fed up Canadians are getting with the shit. And I think it'd be a good thing, dude. If we take in Canada, let that shit settle for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
You know? Let people get used to seeing that on a map. And then we just hop over to Greenland. Do the same. Just rinse and repeat, dude.
We'll build a massive land bridge.
Yeah, dude. It'd be dope, man. But yeah, dude. So I do want to bring up, and just because we're talking about all this shit. So the dude that Trump appointed to head up the FBI, to be the director of the FBI, is Kash Patel, right?
Yeah.
Have you read about this dude?
Not much.
Okay. I'm going to do kind of like we did with JD Vance shit, like who is JD Vance? I'm going to do one about him, I think. Because this is an interesting fella. But anyway, so this dude apparently, he has like a whole background of working with Trump and shit. He's worked in like intelligence and defense. Young dude, smart dude. He has been appointed as the director of the FBI. Okay. So this dude apparently, in like exact words, knows where the bodies are buried. Like he's like, apparently people are fucking on edge with this dude now. They're like, oh fuck. And he's not fucking around. So he's ripping through everything. He's like, let me see it all. Dude, his comments, he read the 9/11 Commission report where like 90% of it is like censored from the public. We don't even have access to it. It's classified. He read it. He said, if you read that and you knew what I knew, it would, what was it? Basically, it would blow your mind. And you would be like, what the fuck? He said, what really happened? That was what really happened. Dude, please. Like, I don't ask for much. Just fucking release those documents, man. I want to see that shit. Because there's no, all right, fuck, all right. It's like, so there's no, I would like to think our government didn't do 9/11. Okay, honestly, in my core, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I believe that, right? It is obvious there were explosives pre-planted at those fucking buildings. They went off. Thousands of people saw this shit happen. There was video recordings that were, it fucking happened. There was pre-planted explosives. Something hit the Pentagon that probably wasn't a fucking plane. Because where the fuck is any of the debris? Where's the luggage? Where's the seats? Where's the bodies? Any of that shit. It didn't fucking exist. So it looked like a fucking missile, right? So all I'm fucking thinking is America was attacked on a whole nother level that they didn't want to fucking disclose to the public. Because they didn't want to seem weak, you know? Like, that would be the first time it's happened since Pearl Harbor, you know? And so I think, I don't kind of know for a fact, Saudi Arabia financed all that shit, dude. And I think Kash Patel might have fucking read that shit and got the answers and was like, whoa.
The public needs to know.
Yep. And then we went and we fucking defended all their oil fields and did all this shit for them and everything like that. Still do business with them and stuff. So I just think a lot of fucking skeletons are going to be coming out real fucking soon, man. And I'm like, please, dude. And then in the midst of it, dude, you got like fucking alien shit going on.
Yeah.
You know? Like, dude, we're about to learn what happened in 9/11, all the alien shit. What if Donald Trump's just a big ass conspiracy theorist and he just wants to get these answers? That's really what it's all.
He didn't care about anything. That was the only reason he ran.
Yeah, what about Bigfoot? Out. The Chupacabra, is that fucking real? How about the Loch Ness Monster? Oh, yeah, that's real. Magic is real? You know? Dude, so I don't know, man. I am fucking excited about all of it, though. I think everything's taking a shift in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Because one thing we can learn is a lot of that crazy left-wing shit, it doesn't work, man.
People get tired of it.
Yeah. You know?
It's too extreme. Like,
Yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, there's any extreme on one end or the other, when it goes too far is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But what we found ourselves with the left is, like, it's horrible, man. It's just not good, dude. It honestly just doesn't, like, I don't have kids, But I'm like, well, bro, there's no way I would send them to a fucking school that was participating in any of that shit.
Yeah.
You know? Especially if I lived in like a larger city. Like if I lived in like Chicago or LA or some shit like that, what the fuck? Hell no, dude. You know? And then you got to deal with all the fucking bullshit that comes from like the cities and their local governments and all that crap. I mean, just like what's happening in California right now. Like, you really want to fucking deal with that bullshit? You know? But I don't know. I am glad we got old DJT in office, man. And in my core, in my heart of hearts, I do believe he's an OG conspiracy theorist. And I think he just wanted some answers. And that's probably what all this is about. He just wants some fucking answers. And he's probably right now, as we speak, working on uncovering the COVID fucking conspiracy. He's going to get to the bottom of it one way or another. I don't know. But, dude, I think that's our episode, man. Wrap it up.
Yep.
Cool. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Dumpster Diaries Podcast. As always, every Monday, Moses and I got an episode that come out every Monday, man. So if you like the show, man, keep tuning in. But we'll see what the future holds, man. I'm fucking optimistic.